It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Look up on the wall, there on the floor, under the pillow, behind the door.
Good morning. Welcome to Denton, Texas. The University of Memphis basketball team, they are here to take on North Texas, looking for the third time this year to win 3 games in a row. Things are kind of lining up for them, too, yesterday with the things, the way they worked out. Now you look at this American Athletic Conference race. USF now is the only team in the American with 3 losses. They were winners last night against Wichita. Tulsa, a loser last night, along with Temple, a loser last night. And Charlotte, they've all got 4 losses. The Tigers, with a win tonight, would be tied for second, only 1 game out. And guess who they've got 2 games left with before this season is out, home and away? USF. It is all setting up for the Tigers to get into the top 2 spots and to get a chance, a really good chance to win the American Conference tournament. But they got to start tonight. They got to beat North Texas. They're actually favorites on the road by 1.5. This is a North Texas team that has struggled. They've lost 4 of their last 5. The only win came, and was a big win, against UTSA, which, in all honesty, since the league began, since Mike Oresco formed this whole league, this UTSA team might actually be the worst collection of talent and execution that we have seen in the league. So that really doesn't count. So 4 in a row really is what they've lost, in my estimation. They have not been all that wonderful at home in the Super Pit, although it can be a tough building. 2 years ago, they took apart the Tigers in this venue. This is a North Texas team, though, that has real trouble scoring. They only scored 48 points against Memphis the last time they played, which was New Year's Eve, the very first conference game of the year. They have 2 guards that can score. In fact, they score 42% of their points. If you cut one of those 2 off, which Memphis did in the first game, they have a real hard time scoring or winning. Now, it's really interesting because Zach Davis was your leading scorer. Zach Davis at this moment, though on this trip, is not in the rotation. He had 12, Zach Davis did. Sincere Parker had 10. They were the 2 that really played the best. Then you had Tierno Silla didn't even play in this game. And here's really what's happened in this streak that Memphis has had, that this moment when we think everything is flipped, the lights have turned on, this team now is playing up to the potential. Remember, they were picked to win the conference in USF number 2, and USF got off to a slow start as well. But the Tigers have shifted their focus. Sincere Parker's now their main scoring threat. Doug McDaniel becomes the 3rd option in all of this. He's concentrating more on facilitating. Also, he is really become more adept at making steals. He's still the leading scorer and assist and 3 guy, but honestly, it's now all about Parker and Aaron Bradshaw. And Aaron Bradshaw has just gotten better and better as the year has gone on. And these 3 still have to be the big 3 for the Tigers to really finish the job that they want to, or that they were, predicted to. And to get to the NCAA tournament. But it sure appears that they're on the way. And we'll get another sense of that tonight, and then you're going to go to a really tough place to play in Logan, Utah, which will take place late Saturday night. This game's late tonight, too. It is an 8 o'clock game, Central Time. It'll be 7 o'clock Mountain Time on Saturday night, so it's 8 o'clock Memphis time again. And the Tigers will see what they can do with Utah State, which is the best team record-wise in the Mountain West, and have only lost 1 home game this year. And oddly enough, that was to Josh Pastner and UNLV. So they have that common opponent, and both lost. I don't know what's going on with the Mississippi schools. They've now lost 9 in a row, but the Rebs and the Bulldogs were at home last night, and they just could not get it done. Ole Miss lost big to Alabama. That's 6 straight losses for them. The Rebels lost to Tennessee. That's their 3rd straight loss. Crazy stuff happening in Mississippi. I really thought the Rebels were going to be a decent team at the beginning of the year. So Chris Beard may be questioned for the first time in his career. There's no question Kansas State is bad. Their coach Jerome Tang last night, after they got killed at home by 29, 91-62, he said, these dudes do not deserve to wear this uniform. They had a 6 a.m. practice this morning. You think P.J. Haggerty showed up to that? I kind of wonder. I really do. In the Olympics last night, and I'll get to the Grizzlies in a second. In the Olympics last night, have we got an ice skating scandal? Now, I must confess, I did not watch the whole program. I watched live the French pair win it, and I watched the last half of theirs. I watched snippets of both the United States and the Canadian team. But I had to look to my wife, who's a so-called expert on all of this. She thinks the Americans got really robbed. We might have a scandal in ice skating, ice dancing. It looked to me they were pretty flawless. They were the favorites to win. They're the 3-time world champions, though they have yet not won a gold medal yet in the Olympics. But that team of Madison Choke and Evan Bates, they took silver. The French got the gold. Many people think the Canadian couple, which got the bronze, really was the second best. The Americans were the best. And then you had the French team, which should have finished third, and there's a little scandal there. They're all new partners, first time they're dancing. They had other partners. They actually represented a different country, or one of them did the last time. So there's a question, and I know I put this task to our producer extraordinaire, Landon Schmidt. He's looked at all 3 of the performances. And I must confess, with your sort of uneducated eye like mine, what did you come away with, Landon Schmidt?
So that is the crazy thing is, after watching them, the untrained eye that I have, I don't understand what these judges see. Even the announcers for the Olympics even said that they don't even know what they saw, that the judges saw, that knocked them down. Apparently there was a mistake in a pattern step or something that was like so small that they could barely even notice it, that knocked them down like 1 point, that caused them to lose against the French team. I watched both of the performances. They did really impressive things. They both looked incredible. From my eye, they both looked flawless. But as far as the final ruling from these judges, the fact that the announcers didn't even know, the skaters themselves didn't even know, and that it was a shock, and how they said they did not see the French team winning, they didn't see that coming. It was just something that I guess the judges made a call that nobody else saw, and that's what they went with. So I really don't know. I really don't know.
In defense of the judges, because I'm not saying the fix is in, but boy, it kind of felt that way. They have computers. They can go back and look in slow-mo to see all this stuff. Mm-hmm. In that short performance, they showed one team I remember where one of the skaters was on the inside portion of their blade, and keep in mind the blade's a 1/4 inch thick. Right. And the other was on the inside, and simultaneously they should have changed. I mean, how they see that, I have no idea. I don't either. But I know it hurt a lot of people's feelings that Chalk and Bates did not win. I'm telling you, we got a new superstar on the horizon. It is in speed skating. It is Wisconsin native Jordan Stolz. He set an Olympic record in the 1,000 meters. He got the gold. He's still got 3 more events to go. He could be the star of these games, or one of them anyway. He's only 21 years old. Is he the next Eric Heiden, who, by the way, also from Madison, Wisconsin, is working these games? And just to tell you how tough it truly is in these Olympic Games, because remember, you got 92 countries, but the countries that are in the mountains that have snow and ice always are better. And 92 countries, only 21 of those countries have at least one medal. The Americans are doing, I think they're third in the medal count now. I think Norway number one, and Italy is up there, the host country. And finally, and we're going to talk momentarily to our good friend Pete Pranica. The Grizz were winners last night. Not winners. I'm sorry. Well, they kind of were winners if you're trying to get ping pong balls. Lost to Denver 122-116. Tuomas Isola was pretty pleased with their effort. You know, they're so undermanned. They only got 11 guys. But here's the stat. They played good defense. They forced Jokic, who had a great game, 26 and 15 with 11 assists. They turned him into 9 turnovers. They played great defense. Here's the stat, and I wonder if Pete Pranica's ever seen this before, because he's done a lot of games. In that particular matchup in Denver, 11 Grizzlies players played. Each player had at least either one steal or one block. Have you ever seen that before, Pete Pranica? Good morning.
Good morning. I'd have to go through StatHead an awful lot of box scores, but no, I mean the Grizzlies. The last 3 games, I mean their steals and blocks totals have been very, very high. And one of the things that you can say, whatever you want to say about the Grizzlies, and just going 1-4 in this road trip, you cannot question the effort at all. They have played very hard for Tuomas. They are undermanned, clearly undersized for sure, but the effort has been there. I mean, they had to have Jokic and Jamal Murray out there in crunch time, and that's something that the Grizzlies forced them to do because they refused to go away. And whereas bad fourth quarters had been kind of the norm, they played Denver pretty evenly down the stretch.
I'm saying this, you're not, just for the record, but I mean, I think it's working out perfectly. They are showing a lot of effort. They are showing teamwork. They are playing together on a lot of occasions. They keep the games close. They're so undermanned. They're starting slow-mo at center. It's working out perfectly. Close games, exciting games, and then you lose at the end. And they'll never say this. You're not going to say this, but I will. I think that's exactly the way they want it to go. I do want to ask you this. What's the atmosphere around the team like now? You got all these new people coming in. No more Jaren Jackson Jr. Obviously, Desmond Bane's been gone the entire season. You got Slow-Mo back in. Jaws was on the trip, did not play. What's it like around this team at this moment?
I think it's been fine. I mean, I haven't noticed that the players are particularly down. You got guys that are fighting for jobs, and we talked about it last night in the pregame show. You're talking about guys that are getting an opportunity at the NBA level that heretofore they have not gotten, and they're trying to prove that they can be part of this, new youth movement with the Grizzlies, or if not with the Grizzlies, with another team. So it's an extended audition for guys like Jemai Meshack and Javon Small and Omax and guys like that. And it's an opportunity. Now, I know he missed the last couple of games with the calf contusion, but it's an opportunity for Walter Clayton to show that he belongs, for Taylor Hendricks to show that he belongs. Taylor broke his ankle 3 games in last year and missed the entire year. So it's an opportunity for guys to show. And I think, to me, where you ask where their mind is at, if their minds weren't right, then last night would have been an utter disaster. They would have had one foot on the charter plane or whatever conveyance and wherever they were going instead of focusing on Denver, and they didn't do that. And I was very proud of them, and Tuomas was rightly proud of them. So I think they're in a good headspace. They understand. They're undermanned, they're undersized, but we're going to go out there and we're going to give it what we got. Tuomas' favorite phrase, one of his favorite phrases is, "Who we have tonight is enough." And last night it almost was enough.
Yeah. Well, speaking of headspace, where do you think Jaws is at? What will his role be on this team after the All-Star break?
That's a good question. I mean, Zach Kleiman said it's going to be a medical decision. So when will they clear him to play? I think that there's going to be a reevaluation of the elbow coming up here in a little bit. Maybe we'll get a little bit more clarity after the All-Star break. If the Grizzlies do really want to fully turn the page from Ja and Jaren, do you play him and have that help elevate his stock? But at the same time, if you're trying to look at the young guys, you're trying to balance two things. You're trying to balance if indeed the Grizzlies do want to move him, that's one way of looking at it. Or is there some way that the relationship can be brought to a point where, now he becomes the head of the rebuild, rather than a victim of it. So, that's a real good question, and I'm dying to find out just like everybody else.
Yeah. Well, I think by NBA rule, if he is medically cleared, and I don't think that I'm trying to remember, it's not Campbell Clinic anymore. Is it Ortho South? That's
Ortho South, yeah.
Ortho South. They're not going to fib on medical reports, I wouldn't believe. So if he gets cleared from this elbow thing, which, I believe was real, but I don't think it was, season ending. By rule, they got to play him now. They don't have to play him a whole bunch of minutes or whatever it might be, but they do have to play their star player, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, unless you have an injury designation, no, they're going to have to play. So how this all works out, again, it remains to be seen. I know that Zach Kleiman was on the trip, and I would imagine there were conversations, and Zach even said there are conversations ongoing with Jaws Camp as to how this is going to proceed going forward. So it'll be a continually unfolding story when we get to the other side of the break.
I'm sure this is a well-needed break. Guys usually go on little mini vacations. I think you went somewhere pretty exotic last year, if I recall. What are you doing?
I don't think it was exotic. Rancho Palos Verdes, California. There's a great resort out there called Terranea, which is where the old Sea Hunt. You and I might be the only two listening right now that know Sea Hunt and Lloyd Bridges, but
Lloyd Bridges. I remember the character's name was Mike Nelson.
Exactly. Yeah, it used to be an aquatic park. Now it's a resort. Well played by you, sir. No, I will be. I'll be going back to California. Sausalito, wine country, just hang out for a little bit. Got to visit with Andy Dolich, our former president of the Grizzlies. Got a chance to visit with him. He suggested a couple of good wineries, so off I go.
Speaking of Andy Dolich, what about Mike Golub? Where is he these days?
I have no idea. I mean, he was last in Portland, and that did not end well. So I do not know where Mike is. I do know that Andy was sporting a LA 28 Olympics quarter zip. I mean, Andy is continuing to teach, I believe, at Stanford, and is still a major figure in sports of all stripes. I mean, he worked for every Bay Area franchise and is now doing a lot of consulting and looks great, and came up to the broadcast booth and gave me a Grizzlies ball marker from back in the day. So I've got that for golf when it gets warm enough.
Always an intriguing guy, Andy Dolich. I thought Golub was too. All right. All-Star game coming up. The new format, USA versus the world, at least for one of the games. I guess there's 3 teams here. Will this be a winner? Will these guys play hard?
I hope so. I really do. Because the All-Star game, really all All-Star games have just been devalued. I mean, look what happened in the NFL. I mean, the Pro Bowl is now, flag football. So I hope that it works out. And it's one of the things that there are players that are saying the right thing. Hey, we want to play hard. And I hope that it works out. The NBA typically, they've come up with some real winning things, whether it's the NBA Cup or the play-in tournament. The one thing they've really struggled to figure out is the All-Star game. And I'm hoping that it works out.
Me too. Rising stars, we know Cam Spencer, Jalen Wells, Cedric Coward made the team. Wells and Spencer certainly are going to play. What's the status on Coward for this game with that knee injury he suffered?
That remains up in the air, but I mean, he's not been substituted for. So I think there's a strong possibility that he would be able to participate. I know that he went to Los Angeles last night with the other guys and team support people that are going to be at All-Star Weekend. So I'm sure he's going to do everything in his power to be able to be on the floor.
All right, we're more than halfway through. You just saw a guy who had 26, 15, and 11 assists. I know his team is not the best team in the league this year, but they may be competing at the end. who would you say? Is it Jokic or SGA, or who would you name at this point your MVP of the NBA?
Maybe it's recency bias because I just saw him last night and he was amazing. But you look at it, and I put my notes together for the game, and I mean, I could do pages of notes on Jokic. First and second chance points, second and second chance points, accounts for more points than any other player in the NBA. Points accounted for, meaning points that he scored, points on which he's assisted. He is third in clutch time scoring in the final 5 minutes. He's averaging 5.5 points per game when the game is close in the final 5. I mean, by every metric. And what people forget a lot of times, he didn't take a lot of jump shots last night. He's a very, very good jump shooter. And also leads the league in field goal percentage on his hook shots. I mean, the superlatives go on and on and on. They did play fairly well without him, and they have struggled since he has come back, particularly in close games. But still, this is a guy that you can play in crunch time. He's a big who can make free throws. You saw him last night, multiple offensive rebounds late and putbacks, and was a big reason why Denver was able to hold off the Grizzlies. So, I mean, it would be very, very hard if I had to vote, which I don't. It'd be hard to vote against them.
Rookie of the year got to be Flag, right? Or is it his old Lukey teammate Knuppel?
Well, but what about B.J. Edcombe in Philadelphia? There's that too. The other thing too now is Cooper Flag apparently suffered some type of foot injury last night, and so will he make? Will he make the 65 game mark in order to be eligible? So if Flag, if this midfoot injury keeps him out for an extended period of time, it would take him off the board. But he and Edgecombe, I think.
Do you think we should continue? I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's this thing. I understand the reason they put this in. It was to motivate players and teams to make sure that they played 65 of the 82 games. You could miss 17. That's all you could miss. But now you just see LeBron had an illness and an injury earlier in the year that was legit. Now he can't make any of those marks because he's already missed 18 games. It seems to me this is like unintended consequences. It's a good rule, but it doesn't really apply in all cases, and it's very punitive.
Yeah, I agree. I think 65 is too high. It's a pretty high bar for anybody to make under the best of circumstances. And yeah, all it takes is, they were trying to minimize the impetus for guys to do load management, right? So
right.
65, I think, is too big a number. I think if you try maybe 55, now it's a little bit more reasonable because, Aaron Gordon gets a hamstring injury. Well, he's not going to be eligible for anything, so
right.
All it takes is one injury, one turned ankle that doesn't heal properly, and, you're out of the mix. And a lot of guys probably have in their contracts all NBA, all-star doesn't really matter for games, but, for some of these postseason awards, they probably have incentives. And, the 65 game limit takes it away.
All right, last thing, because you're a Wisconsin native and a lover of all things around cheese. Jordan Stoltz, had you ever heard of him?
I have to confess I have not.
Oh, my gosh. He's a Wisconsin guy who's the new Eric Heiden.
Okay.
I would have imagined Eric Heiden would have been one of your heroes growing up. Come on now.
Well, everybody knows Eric Heiden, and of course they had I believe the speed skating track was in West Allis, Wisconsin. So that's where they all trained. Eric Heiden I know, but I've not seen anything from the Winter Olympics other than the replay of Lindsey Vonn crashing.
Well, this guy. I know you want to keep an eye on this guy. He won his 1,000 meters last night. He's got 3 more to go. He won gold. He's only 21. I think he's the favorite to win the other 3. So Heiden got 5 in one Olympics. He's supposed to get 4. But again, he's going to be around for a while. Just I was certain you would know him. Don't drink too much wine. You taking your sticks?
No. This is total relaxation. Unfortunately, the weather's not going to cooperate. It's probably going to rain the entire time I'm there. So sit by the fireplace or in a tasting room somewhere and just enjoy the peace and quiet for a few days.
All right. Enjoy. We'll talk to you next Thursday. Thank you, my friend.
Sounds good.
That is our guy on the NBA and on the Grizz. That is Pete Pranica. We got to take a break. I'll let you know Pete's been brought to you by Sheldon. You know, do you ever wonder where your doctor goes when he or she gets sick, or where does your dentist go when they get a toothache? Well, Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Mensters Realtors knows that over the years, he's felt honored when former agents contact him when they or their former clients need help to sell their home or to buy one. So having a good rep in the real estate business is what it's all about, and he's got that rep because he's got that highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in what you make and just how long it might take you to get to that closing table. So from your first meeting with Sheldon all the way to that closing table, he is by your side 24/7 to answer questions and guide you down the path to a successful transaction. So if you are really interested in selling, you are in need, or a friend is, he's the guy you got to talk to. He says talk to 2 or 3 real estate brokers. Just make sure he's one of them. And how do you get a hold of him? You email him at memphisrelocate.com. That says everything, doesn't it? Or you can call and talk to him personally at 483-0546. You want the job done? Call Sheldon. That's Sheldon Rosengarten, memphisrelocate.com, or 483-0546. We venture downtown to the Hall of Famer on Mud Island. That is Jarvis Greer. We'll have Tom Hart in our final segment today, but we talk with Jarvo about a lot of stuff, including Memphis and North Texas. He comes your way in just a minute.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, fellas. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I hope that you're aware that Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and you can't be dawdling along waiting till the last minute to find her something wonderful that will make her happy. At Russell Brothers, we've been specializing in happy for 5 decades now, helping men show their ladies how very much they care. And you know, taking good care of your favorite girl is what Valentine's Day is all about. Come visit us at Russell Brothers, see the breathtaking jewelry, and know that you're going to walk out the door with a gift she'll be proud of, and you'll also find out what makes Russell Brothers Jewelers so special. So come look at our quality, see our value and beauty, and experience our service. Come visit us at Russell Brothers Jewelers. Let us help you put happy on her face on February the 14th. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins. We'd love to help you find the jewelry that she wants.
Listen up, Rebel fans. Your next winning drive starts at Landers Ford in Collierville. Their game plan is simple. Find you the most savings possible. Make a trade, lower your payments, or let them buy your vehicle even if you don't buy from them. That's how you keep moving the chains. Just like the Grove on game day. Fans all across the Mid-South keep coming back to the #1 Ford dealership in Greater Memphis. See them today in Collierville or online at LandersFordMemphis.com. When you own a Landers Ford, you get the support of a certified service tech with the Landers Ford Remote Service Experience Program. They pick it up, drop it off, or fix it on the spot, so you're never left watching from the sidelines. To finish the drive, the iconic Landers Easy Pass always brings more for your trade and the biggest discounts to put you in victory formation. And now, straight from the 1977 Ole Miss football team that took down #1 ranked Notre Dame, the final snap of the day from Landers Ford President Don Kitchens.
If it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2024 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report, Memphis Market.
Rebel Nation, get the latest on everything Ole Miss sports with the Cannon Motors of Mississippi Rebel Yell Hotline. Join Rebel insiders Chuck Rounsville, Yancey Porter, and Gary Darby Monday nights at 6 as they break down the latest with the Rebels, along with even more insight from special guests. Rebel Yell Hotline, Mondays at 6 p.m. on WHPQ.
Stay up to date with everything going on in Ole Miss athletics with Rebel Yell Hotline every Monday night from 6 to 7 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
When you were gone, I turned to stone.
The Family Leisure Studios has moved. They are in Denton, Texas, where the Tigers get ready to take on the Mean Green of North Texas tonight. But you need to get to the real Family Leisure. That's I-40 and Whidden Road, because the floor model sale continues. Literally hundreds of floor model displays, hot tubs, the swim spas, the cold plunges. They are all deeply discounted to move them out for the new stuff to come in. They're really doing that. If it's on display in the store, you're going to get a discount. Some you won't believe. Go see Billy. Go see Lindsay. Ask how much you can get off. Make sure you tell them we sent you. You might get something extra special. If you do, head to Family Leisure at I-40 and Whidden Road. We head downtown. Our good friend, that would be the Hall of Famer, Jarvis Greer, joins us now. The Tigers have a chance for the third time this year to win 3 games in a row. They take on a team they held to 48 points and beat them in the first game of the year at FedEx Forum. Who's going to win tonight between the Tigers and the Mean Green, Jarvis Greer?
Well, I would say the blue and gray, man, because they look like they're playing pretty good now, and North Texas is not very good at all. So, the way Memphis is playing right now, let's hope. Wins on the road have been few and far between for this team, so a win tonight would definitely be a feather in the Tigers' cap. Not because they're playing a tough team, but because they need to keep stacking as many wins as they can, and getting a win on the road would be great for this team.
I said this. It's really the second time, and I was wrong the first. I said I think this team got it. I thought they did. I thought they got it after the Wichita State second half.
We all
had
thought
Majak
that.
in there. Yeah, and then they killed FAU and laid the egg against Tulane. All right, now that's in the past. But my question for you is, it sure appears now they got Silla in the lineup, a little more physicality with Aaron Bradshaw, who's obviously really starting to come around. Do you think they've turned the corner? Do you think they are finally playing like the team that was predicted to win the American?
Well, if this gets to 5 or 6 games in a row, I know they got Utah State coming up, but if it gets to, and if they put out a good performance there, win tonight, put out a good performance there, and then hit a few more wins in a row, then I'd say, yeah, they've turned the corner, because they're consistent. They have not been consistent this year, consistently good. What they've been is consistently, I don't know what they are. You know what I mean? But I will say this: what's happened with Silla, man? He has just really come along here lately. And after being basically left for dead, after he didn't play in the Bahamas, then he comes back and plays a little bit, and then you don't see him again. But now he's come on, and it looks like he really, is a great compliment to AB down low.
I think Tierno Silla came here in order to be a reclamation project, to up his numbers, to try to have a pro career. And in particular, in his mind, an NBA career. And so I think for a while he was more about himself than he might have been about the team. And at some point, Penny had enough, and he sat him down. And then he kept having weekly meetings with him, basically telling him why he wasn't playing and what he had to do to play. And then right before the Tulane game, he brought him in. He said, "I'm not playing you tonight, but you've been doing good things. If you continue to do that, I will play you the next game." And that was at Birmingham, and he had one of his best games, and he's followed that up. I think he got it, that he's got to be a part of the puzzle that is a physical guy that will get rebounds, because that's been a real deficiency on this team, that will battle really hard, play great defense, concentrate on that. That way you'll get playing time. And by the way, we'll run a play or two for you, or you'll get an offensive rebound and a putback. And that's the way it's worked. And he's also, as much as I like Simon Majak, he's a little bit like AB is right now. He runs the floor. He plays really hard, but he has no weight to him. I watch these drills before the game that they have with him, with the two coaches with pads, and they're beating the crap out of AB, and they're beating the crap out of Silla, and they go to the hole and they finish. They beat the crap out of Majak, and he can't do anything. He drops the ball. So he's going to be a really good player, but they had to have physicality inside on both sides of the court, and that's what Silla has done.
But plus, he's a little older, and he's been around, and he's played in the Big 12 with UCF. How about that? He's been around, and he knows what big time competition is. But to come here and not look like he was part of big time competition, that was a disappointment. And playing that mind game that Penny did and said, okay, you played well. I'm not going to play you this time, but you play the next time. I think that was a jab to see, okay, if he comes back and keeps giving that same effort, even though I didn't play him, then that means he really, really wants to play. So he got out and showed it that last game, in the last couple of games, and that's been a real bright spot, as well as that's almost as big a bright spot as Aaron Bradshaw coming on to be the player that we hoped he would be, when he transferred in out of the portal. And because at the beginning it looked like he didn't even know how to play basketball. I mean, you could see there was talent there, but he didn't know how to play the game, fouling out in 10 minutes. Come on. And now, he can stay on the floor. He moves well. He's tough on a back to the basket, backing down and getting his little jump hook off, or making a nice little up and under move. And he looks like the player that we hoped he would be. Plus, he's 7 feet now, legitimate, and very, very long. He's skinny, but he is long and can run the floor, and he can block some shots, and showing a lot more hustle than he did at the beginning of the year.
He by the way, is a junior. He's actually playing like the guy they thought was coming out of Rathaway, New Jersey.
Right.
To be honest, let's face it, he was a bust. They allowed him to play as a wing player at Kentucky and Ohio State, and he's not a great shooter. I know he's made 7 threes at like 22%. 2 games where he shot proficiently. The rest he's not been very good at. But they've said, no. If you're going to be a player, you're 7'1" with a big, long wingspan. And you got hops. You got to get a little bit bigger and heavier, and you got to show physicality. And they're working on with him, Roy Rogers in particular, the big man coach, on how to be an efficient big man. And here's the good news: this guy could come back next year. We talked all about this thing with Penny about not, the last 2 years nobody's come back except for Nicholas Jourdain. So you've had at that time was 13 players, now it's 15. Out of 27 players, 1 guy came back. This time you can have back. Listen to this grouping. You have AB, and he would certainly be worth it. Curtis Given is the third. A Memphian. He's got 2 years he could come back, and I believe he will.
He's learning.
Thedford can come back. Quante Berry can come back. There's your defensive guards, and Berry hasn't been as proficient as we thought he would be, but he's a good 3-point shooter historically, and he does seem to be a streaky guy that way. I hope he has a few games where he shows that again. You got Simon Majak. We talked about him. He could come back. Yeah. Ashton Hardaway could come back.
Mm-hmm.
William Morton is a kid I love. He's got a big upside. He could come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you got a base there. You got a base of 7 players that you can build around. Now you still need to bring in a hot shot out of the portal, but you got a base there that knows the system, knows how to play, knows what Fitting wants, and you're not turning it over all the time. And for the fans, okay, these are guys people know. Some people say, well, how good could they be? They're only like 500 or just a game above or whatever. But no, that makes a difference when you got guys that now know the system, know what to do. We've seen what they do when they can play. It's not like that they can't play. I've said that the Tigers play stupid sometimes. They just do. Down the stretch, when they've lost some of those leads, the way they've lost, it's just like, come on now, guys. But now it looks like they're starting to get the hang of it. We're midway through the season, and, you got to win the tournament to get in the NCAA, but I don't care. However you get in there, get in there. And if this is the way they got to go, and it's taken them this long to get better, we've seen other teams do it in other leagues where they're like, an afterthought at the beginning of the year going into the tournament. They get to the tournament, they catch fire, and then they make a run. Who knows? This team has talent to do it. Now it looks like they're starting to get some of the smarts to go along with it.
Well, you take those 7 guys I mentioned. Now you've got 1 high school kid signed, and that's the buddy of Fred Smith. Most people think he's going to sign. That'd be 2. That'd be 9.
The kid out of MUS. Yeah, the kid out of
don't
MUS.
forget you can have 15. I don't know if you got to sign all 15, to be totally honest with you, but sign 3 or 4 more. You got to have a couple of shooters and a big guy, and you can spend some money on them. I think you got the makings of an NCAA tournament team with those 9 guys plus whatever you can get in the portal that you can really buy that's really top notch. I get excited about that.
I think the difference between this team and the last thing, Penny even admitted he waited too long on Dane Danger and Haggerty to make their decisions. So he ended having to go, bargain barrel shopping at Walmart to get some of these guys. But there is talent there. Now, they came from losing programs. They didn't know how to win. And now they're starting to learn what it takes to win. It's not just going out there on game day and, I'm flashing and I'm running around. There's so many things you have to do to lead up to that, to learn how to do it and to put yourself in the position to do it. They have been there before in a lot of games where they just lose it down the stretch. Now, if they start winning these games, hey, man, that gets to be you're not pushing the snowball up the hill all the time. Now you know what you're doing when you get in those situations, and that's what this team really has missed, and it looks like they're starting to get the hang of it. But I'm not going to say they've got it yet until they put a few in a row. I've been fooled before.
I get
we
you.
thought going into
That's
Wichita
fair.
State,
All right,
they were ready.
Let me get 2 quick things here in because I'm running out of time. 1, Ja. After the All-Star break. We got the break now. You catch your breath. Hopefully his elbow's healed. What are they going to do about Ja Morant the last third of this year?
Well, it's really difficult to know. We talked to King Kleiman at his availability a little bit ago, a couple of days ago, the general manager, and he says, hey, it's up to the doctors and their medical report, and we'll see what they say. So, they could say, okay, you're ready to go. He's ready to go. We'll play. Or, I don't know. We need a second opinion. Or, they could, we need to move it on past June. Who knows? Who knows if he's going to play? And then there's all the school of thought, well, if he plays, they could win, which is a definite possibility. Or if he plays, he could get hurt, which could hurt his trade what his value is on the trade market. So I don't know. That's anybody's guess whether he'll play or not. If
nobody knows that. All right, last thing. Anybody who's followed your Hall of Fame career knows you have battled prostate cancer, and I understand next Tuesday, 6 o'clock, Action News 5, your old station, they're doing a story basically on you and your battle with that disease.
Yeah, it has come back. And now I'm at the advanced prostate cancer protocol, and you're always wondering when you go get your checkups. Is everything going to be good? Everything going to be good? Well, it was good for right at 4 years after I had the surgery, and then it came back, and so we had to go through like the bazooka protocol with hormone therapy and radiation, and it's it hasn't been fun, but hey, it's like I'm still here. So it's a thing to tell people, like, look, there's all kind of ups and downs along the way, but there's people there, and like I'm at the urology group and West Cancer Center, and they do a tremendous job. And you'll hear from the doctors at the urology group. You'll hear from my nurse Ginger Coleman, who is like assigned to me to take care of me. You get a call. I call her in the middle of the night sometimes. Says, oh man, I'm not feeling too good. I need something, and now she'll get something called in. And it's just all kind of things that you have to do and you have to know, and that that are out there. There are people and organizations out there that can help you. Courage Through Cancer, West Cancer Foundation, that can help you whatever your deal is. And for men, I think there's 13% of men are going to get prostate cancer. That you double that for black men, and most men in general don't even like going to the doctor, right? So it's like, you better go. It's better to know than not know. I'll put it that way. Because as my wife tells me, if I hadn't have done it, then I may not be here. So I'm still here.
Well,
And this kind of electronic.
Let's hope that show, Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, Action News 5, will help somebody that might be
let's hope that.
wondering about it. Anyway.
Yeah. And Joe Birch is,
all right, my
the
friend.
captain of that. Very good,
there
Dave.
You go.
All right.
Thank
we appreciate you.
We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Okie dokie. Thank you.
That's our man. That is the Hall of Famer, Jarvis Greer. When we come back, we hope to hook up with our SEC friend from ESPN. That's Tom Hart. He's on the way next on Wallow and Friends.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20 plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
We're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar-based. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to baste or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef, and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet piquilla peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes. Or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Join NFL and Ole Miss football legend Archie Manning for an evening of inspiring stories on leadership, perseverance, and greatness. Don't miss Archie Manning at the Heindel Center in Senatobia, Mississippi on Friday, February 20th. Tickets are on sale now at heindelcenter.org. Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
I was just listening to that promo of February 20th, the evening with Archie Manning down in Senatobia. You get a chance. I've been lucky to be involved in a Q&A with the Mannings and with Archie on occasion. And you will really love listening to what Archie's got to say. He's clever and he's got more insight than anybody else and a big heart. And if you get a chance to go to that, I would, because that will be eye-opening and entertaining and informative for all of you. Speaking of I guess innovative and informative, I just read this story. The Big 12 at their tournament, I saw a picture of it, is going to have on their floor, or their floor will be, an LED powered screen. That's what the whole floor is going to be. It is basically aluminum and steel spring action floor. Like I guess it's this glass. It's got this aluminum and steel in it. It's Landon Schmidt. Have you ever heard of anything like this? And it's crazy.
I've not heard a lot about it. No.
So is it like one big advertisement?
I would if
they can change everything with an LED thing, I guess.
Yeah, if I were taking an educated guess, that's what I would go with.
Man, I guess I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like. They can change team colors for each game, and I don't know. It seems like technologically there's a lot of different things you can do to it. But my question would be, does it feel like and I guess they can probably, with technology and the materials they're going to use, adjust it that it'll feel like a wood floor, but it just doesn't seem to me that it would. Like, will the bounce be the same? I mean, just kind of weird to me. All right. Look at the SEC standings. I mentioned how poorly the Mississippi schools are doing. If you look right now, Florida is the 14th ranked team in the country. There's only 3 ranked teams in the AP poll. They're 9-2. Then you got Kentucky and Arkansas. They're the last ranked teams. Kentucky 25, Arkansas 21. They're 8-3. Then you have bunched up here 5 different teams at 7-4. Tennessee, Alabama, Vanderbilt, Missouri, A&M, all 7-4. Out of all those teams, those 5, let's just say that Florida, UK, and Arkansas are all locks to make the tournament. How many more make the tournament? In other words, how many will the SEC get in? I gotta believe Tennessee's gonna get in. I kinda gotta believe Alabama's gonna get in. I don't know about A&M. They've been a great surprise, but they're starting to slip. I think they've lost 3 in a row. Missouri, we can put into that category. Dennis Gates is, he might be the great story, a comeback story this year. Vandy kind of had it really going early. They've kind of lost it. I'm not sure the SEC gets more than 5. Where's your head at that, Landon Schmidt?
Yeah, I think I'm with you. If I was going to add any other teams, I would say it would be Vandy, but I think it's pretty top heavy right now. Florida for sure, Kentucky definitely, Arkansas and Tennessee. I'm with you. I think Tennessee gets in, Alabama gets in. And I think if there were to be somebody else, I think Vanderbilt could make it. But past that, I think the SEC's kind of slipping when it comes to most of those games. So that would be the only other team I would consider to make it to the NCAA tournament.
I was trying to think about that. Who's the best team you've seen this year? I really think it's Arizona. I think the Big Ten is the best league this year. You watch some of those games. They are really physical battles. They've got shooting. They play defense in that league. And, it's school like, let's say Alabama. Here's the flaw of Alabama. And I've said this all along with Nate Oates teams. They are really great and fun to watch, and they can score. But let's go back to the Super Bowl. Let's go back to the old axiom, defense wins titles. I truly believe that, and I don't think they do that there. I think in the Big Ten, for the most part, all those schools do, and you still get crazy stories like Illinois blew a big lead at home the other night and lost to a team like Wisconsin. They're not making the NCAA tournament. Illinois is going to, but I think probably you're going to see 6, 7, 8 teams from the Big Ten get in. I think that's the best conference. You concur?
Oh, absolutely. And I would actually say, I think, in my opinion, the best team in college basketball right now is Michigan. I mean, you've seen what they've done all year long. Only 1 loss. They're doing incredibly well against top 25 teams. They're perfect on the road, which is really, really rare for any kind of college basketball team. So they would actually be my bid for the best team in college basketball.
And I'm going to throw in another team that can surprise you because they always are there toward the end, except for the one time when they were a 1 seed with Zach Edey and lost in the first round to the low number, the 68th team in the tournament. What was that? Fairleigh Dickinson. But I think Purdue will have a say in it when it's all said and done because they got so much experience, and that really usually will pay off in the end. But I think the Big Ten and the Big 12 are probably ahead of the SEC and might throw the ACC in. I'm not sure there. That's pretty close. But I think you kind of max out 5, maybe 6 SEC teams will get in. In the meantime, last thing before we slip away, we'll go back to the Grizz for a second. They did win last night. G.G. Jackson had 21 points, Ty Jerome 19 and 7 assists, and it was really their defense. And I mentioned the 11 players and all that played. They ended up with at least one steal or a block. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before, but you always see something new. But is G.G. Jackson, who's really starting to give effort on the defensive side, is he a guy that is a keeper? We know Ty Jerome was also the star, and he's now become really probably your most consistent, productive player. We all knew when they got him that he was going to be a big-time guy, but he can take over a game. You move him to 2 and Scottie Pippen is your 1, at least through the rest of this year, depending on what you do with Ja. It'll be fun to watch. But now here's the intriguing question, because they obviously got something with Vince Williams. They got something back with those picks and with Hendricks and Clayton and Slomo. I love having Slomo back, but I don't know. You can't really play him at center and expect to win games. But I'm intrigued by G.G. Jackson. I've been intrigued since he came up. Remember, he only didn't really play very much college basketball at all. He was all this talented guy. Nobody was really interested in him. He's getting another chance. He got, because everybody was hurt, he played a bit 2 years ago, and everybody had high thoughts for him. And then when everybody came back, he really couldn't play much at all. He went down to the G League. He's learned how to play better on the defensive side. What do you do about G.G. Jackson? If you are Zach Kleiman, Landon Schmidt, do you keep him in the mix?
I think for the remainder of the season, absolutely. I've always kind of seen G.G. Jackson and Vince Williams kind of on the same wavelength, and the fact that we traded him away, kind of got some capital back from him. I think for the rest of the season, obviously you're going to have to keep him and roll with him. But going forward, I really don't know. I think it's going to depend on where we go with the draft, where we're going with free agency, what all that kind of stuff looks like. But I'd say for the time being, he's earned a spot. So I say let him stay.
I think it's just consistency with him. We know he's got that physical talent. If he can sharpen up the IQ, be more consistent, give out the effort on the defensive side, I think the guy is definitely, maybe a starter, certainly a rotation player in the NBA. So that'll be pretty much it for today from Denton. This is an interesting game for the Tigers tonight. The truth is we can talk about the Utah State game, and that might be a great barometer because that's a tough place to play. Have they come along? In the end, you want to win every game. But in the end, you got to win the conference games because you want to position yourself to only have to play 2 to win the American, and that's the only way you get to the tournament. That's what makes tonight's game important as could be. And how often are the Tigers road favorites? They are tonight. This one is must win. Hope you guys will enjoy that one. We'll talk about it on Monday, but you'll talk with Landon Schmidt about that tomorrow, along with Andy Schiffman and Jonah Dillon on a myriad of topics, including the NBA. That will come your way tomorrow. I'll talk to you again on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Hey y'all, it's the Mid-South Sports and Boat Show, February 20th through the 22nd at the Agri Center. Come buy your new boat and make some memories at the lake this summer with family and friends. Premier dealers showcasing the newest ski boats, pontoons, fishing boats with huge show specials. Enter your chance to win daily door prizes. It's all at the Mid-South Sports and Boat Show, February 20th through the 22nd. For more info, go to memphisboatshow.com. That's memphisboatshow.com.
At the Agri Center.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova. Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well,